It's not letting me. Usually does. It's not letting me do that. Okay. Well, I guess not. It's not letting me rotate the screen. Let me see if I can do it this way. Nope. It won't let me. I'm trying to figure out how to do this, and it's not letting me do it. Like, show the angle in this way. No, it's not. So I'm just gonna have to do it this way. All right. That's fine. That's how you guys want to do it. Okay. Because it's not gonna let me do it how I want to do it. So I wanted to like show you the cards from the angle, the proper angle, but it's not allowing me to shift the camera that way. So that's fine. And plus I'm streaming under unlisted. It's not a public live stream. It's a unlisted live stream. So that's how I'm going to do it. So unfortunately, hope you guys don't mind. It is, I think it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. And I'm here to deliver a message. I don't know where the message is going, but the message I'm getting, like, there is like a shift that's happened. Like, it's a positive shift. Things are moving. Could be in specific areas, or you just sense and feel a positive shift somehow, somewhere, in this energy. So I feel if this resonates with you, it'll resonate with you. It may not make sense to everyone watching because it is a general reading, but you do have to, use your discernment to know if it's even for you in the first place. So, all right. Okay. Just need to cleanse the energies around and up in here. Okay. Alright, so first off, as the Most High God comes through and channels a message that, we need to know, we need to hear, whatever the message is that brought me to sit down and channel. What is the message, Divine Spirit, Most High God? Ask for divine angelic forces to divine protect this reading. I also ask that the message be fully of the Most High, and that I am removed out of this reading unless Divine Spirit uses me, in some sense. But other than that, just as a channel for this message, I ask to remove my ego, remove any type of fogginess, cloudiness, or any type of personal energy that does not serve this reading. Any forces that are not meant to be here, block them out, block them, lock them out. May we hear our discernment. May we hear the voice of the Most High, our higher self, our divine spiritual team who has our best interests at heart. Thank you. Okay. So, the message. Okay. I do see like a major shift. I'm seeing it's like a mountain. It's like in the night. It's a night vision. It looks like a night setting outdoors. I see mountains and I see moons. So intuitively, I feel like this is a metaphor for intuitively knowing that whatever the obstacles were present or in the past, or with a specific situation that you might have been struggling with the moon, you know that you're being divinely guided. You may intuitively know what this is going, like these challenges are going to soon come to a pass. What was the shift? I'm seeing a wolf howling at the moon. It's not like the moon card per se, but like it might be something similar. I'm seeing a moon mountains, and I'm seeing a wolf. And I also see someone running in the woods barefoot. Okay. Okay. It sounds like to me the wolf is calling out to someone, and the person hears it. They're heeding to the call and they're running. This person's barefoot. Why are they barefoot? It's like a race, or like the person's growing tired, okay? There's a higher calling, something that's calling them. It's like an instinct, but it's like they don't really know, like they hear it, but they don't know which way to go. They're growing tired. The barefootedness, I'm not sure what the spiritual meaning is. I'm going off of what the vision, like what's coming to me, what I feel from the vision is this represents like strength, someone who is resilient, someone who has been through a lot, but it's not giving up. They're following the calling of this wolf. Okay, wolves may be something significant to some of you. You might want to look up the meaning of a wolf. Sometimes for me, they represent protection. I'm not getting anything deceptive from the wolf in this instance. I know some sayings, the wolves in sheep clothing or whatever. I'm not getting that message. Now there's a campfire, or there's a fire, okay? So fires represent transmutation, they represent passion, they represent creativity. This fire has stopped someone in their tracks. They're very focused on it. They're glaring into the fire. And they kind of like go into a trance, okay? This could represent distraction, some sort of passionate, something that has your attention. You're very passionate about it. It could be a distraction, or could be something that needs to get your attention at this time. This could also represent meditation. The need to meditate is very important and very significant. It could also be that certain things need to be released at this time for some of you. Some of you guys could be fire signs. Okay, now I'm seeing an ocean. Okay, so that's capturing this person's attention. It's very peaceful waves. So this represents peace and calm in the emotions. So I'm also picking up too that this is representing meditation as well. Peace, calm, serenity. My cat, I knew she was going to do that. Every time, it's like she feels when I'm recording and she's outside and she's like, she jumps on the window. Is there anything else to the vision, Divine Spirit? Because I'm not sure where this is going. I'm just going with the flow of what the vision is that I'm seeing. The person's like sitting down by the ocean, just kind of reflecting. So I get there's a lot of emotions. Emotions that run very high or very deep, but there's a sense of peace that's coming in with these emotions. So I'm going to pull some cards. Oops. And I want to see what Spirit wants to say. So I hope you guys don't see my bottom, because I don't have any, you know, I'm in my, you know, relaxation mode. So I hope you guys can't see down there. Let's see, Divine Spirit, please tap into this message, the channel message that we're picking up. What is the message? What is the message? Thank you. Okay, so we have egotism. This is Mars and Leo, the 5th house. Adaptability. Yeah, this is a change. Significant shift and change is happening. You have rebellion. You have affair. You have practicality. So you have the 3rd house, which is the moon in Gemini. I did see a moon. You have a moon in Capricorn. So this can represent the current moon that we're in. We're in a new moon phase, which is in Capricorn. Also, you have Mars in Aquarius and Venus and Leo. So you have a lot of Leo energies, where I was saying that some of you can have some fire energy, or you have fire in your chart. So we have some 11th house some 5th house and 10th house and 3rd house energy. Some of you guys, I feel like this represents a shift in your energy, a change, releasing and letting go what doesn't serve you. Ollie, what are you doing? Releasing and letting go what does not serve you. I definitely see some sort of effort. So the change and the shifts that you feel for the better is because something was released, something was removed. And I feel like it was illumination. I feel someone was listening to their inner guidance. Someone is also facing, I feel like some of you guys may be facing some of these battles of the mind, or surpassing certain tests that come your way, as far as people triggering you, as far as it's like a battle of the mind or your beliefs. You've stood up for yourself in some sense. So some of you guys could be coming into that energy, but I feel like this is something that has passed. Definitely when it comes to close bonds and close connections with others. I feel like you're approaching this situation from a very practical sense. For others of you, this could be someone or something around you. The affair card is here. It has these two, it seems to be like, what do you call them? I don't know if they're cherubs. I guess you can call them like angelic babies. And they're hugging and embracing each other. And it's very sweet and romantic. So this could also be, once you shift this energy, this could bring your connections with others closer. I won't just categorize this as romantic because I don't feel like that's the only relationship that's here. It can also be with yourself. This is making peace with your inner child, because these are young, youthful energies. Let me let my cat out real quick. Really quick, you guys. Excuse me. Okay. So, and I have my animal book. I want to see, because I don't always remember. Sometimes I just get the message and then I move on. But I want to look at my animal speak book, because the wolf stood out to me. But yeah, you guys, and you also have like a person that looks like a rooster. So I'm going to look up what roosters mean. This is the egotism card. So someone got the call. Someone's ego could have been bruised, or it doesn't have to be yours. It could be someone else. It could have been just people just clash, or just this clashing, or just making peace with the fact that you don't always resonate with people, and people don't always resonate with you on some sort of level. It could also be someone separating themselves from egotistical connections, or just within themselves, removing their ego, or how they relate to their ego. Let's see. The wolf. Wolves represent guidance. It says, though not apparent yet, change is occurring. Trust in self to find your path. Take control. Protection surrounds you in your journeys. All right, yeah. That kind of goes along with what I was picking up. But let me see if the rooster's in here. Roosters. It says fertility. Time of increased fertility and resurrection is at hand. Optimism increases. Sexuality grows stronger. Okay. So I get that's the part of the passion that some of you may have been feeling, that fertility, that growth. So I see that. But this is a shift in energy, and it starts in the spirit realm and then makes its way to the physical realm. So spirit had to highlight some things, or someone may have triggered you and highlighted the things that needed to be let go of and released. I get this Shiva and Kali type of energy from this card. The adaptability card, which is Moon and Gemini, which is the 3rd house. This represents communication. So the way that you relate to yourself and how you communicate, how you handle things, and how you communicate with others, that also is shifting and changing. For some reason, I'm seeing this blue bird reminds me of Twitter. So it could be literally Twitter, or something with social media, something in the lines of communication. there's going to be a lot of shifts and changes, and I feel like the way that you communicate and how we communicate as a collective is shifting. It's a different. There's a lot that's going on in the spirit realm. So when you see certain there's communication happening in ways. I was just talking to one of my sisters, one of my soul sisters. We were just talking about how communication is sometimes it's not always verbal, right? Just like how our angels and our guides speak to us and the universe and God or whatever, how whatever you resonate with communicates through numbers and, you know, synchronicities or whatever. We communicate just as well through that. I was saying this, and I can't remember what reading it was, but it's coming up again. Music that we can, our higher self can come in and communicate in ways. It's like, I don't know what movie it is. I don't know if this is a movie, but I'm getting like it's a quick vision of someone in a car and the radio is like changing. It's like the old school radio where you turn the knob, like you're like tuning into like a radio station, and it's going to a station that's playing a song. It's a movie, I think, and it was playing it's playing a love song. It's like a 50s love song, and it has a message in it. This can be literal for somebody. I don't know why. I think it's a movie I seen when I was little and I don't remember it. It was a girl. She passed away in a car accident on her way to prom with her boyfriend. And it was like, it happened in the 50s and she came back. It was like a 90s movie because I was a little kid when I was watching this. It was on Disney Channel or some shit. And she, I think she was stalking, not stalking, but she was like seeking help. I don't remember the whole movie and all of that, but I think it was a guy. It was a teenage guy. Maybe it was a girl. I don't remember. I think it was a guy though. She went to him. The girl's ghost went to him. Her spirit was seeking some help or something. It was like I think she was trying to bring peace to some people because how it happened or what happened, something crazy. And she was manipulating the radio, and she was turning it to the song that was significant to her and her boyfriend or whatever. So I feel like your spirit guides can do things like that and they'll speak to you through different languages, but we can do that ourselves. Like our higher selves can step in and do that. Kind of like serve as a guide to others. But we were also like me and my, I'm jumping all over the place. I'm just going with what, where's like just roll with it. But me and my soul sister, we were having this conversation and I was like, I feel like we communicate through social media even if we don't realize it. Like there will be times where I'll post things, I'll just be guided to post shit and say things not knowing that someone needed to hear that message or it meant something to someone and vice versa. Like I really feel like we help. The thing now is like subliminals and symbols and stuff like that between like people. So I get that our communication is going into different forms. Like without verbal communication, it's starting to like we're being speak to through different forms, or we're becoming more aware of these things. But social media is such a newer way of communication versus verbal communication versus the language of numerology and so on and so forth. So that plays a role, and there's a lot of shifts. And I feel like you guys are facing the system and the energy of society or what's normal. And it's a battle in the mind, and it's also a spiritual warfare, I feel. And it happens in the spirit realm before it happens in the physical. So I was saying before, I've said this a few times before, and I've said it in a video recently, where when you release something, when you clear your energy, when you're doing spiritual work, say you're fasting, whatever, you're meditating, you're praying, whatever, you're setting intentions for positive things and releasing, expect spiritual attacks. Like it's a given. Whether spirit sends them to you to see where you're at with yourself, did you level up, you know, or it's you know, forces that are, you know, not always of the, you know, highest good come in and try to infiltrate and mess with you and throw you off your path. If they have to use some people around you, they'll do it. If they gotta come into your mind and like bring a negative thought up or a memory of something that hurts you to throw you off and make you doubt yourself and your evolution and all of that, it, you know, it's gonna happen. But you have to be prepared for that, because this person is fighting back with his sword. This is the rebellion card, and this is like, to me, this guy, he's going against society and the so-called powers that be. And you know, I feel like that's what this is. And it also could be your mind. You know, sometimes the mind could be our biggest enemy. But you have a fair right next to it. So I do see that your connections to others, it could be a positive shift just as well as it could be, you know, connections that don't serve you anymore. And you really have to stand in your power when it comes to this, definitely when it comes to connections. And I see people that there's something connected to children or your childhood, and this energy comes up a lot. Okay. Inner child. When I speak of shadow work, this is not like something that I believe is to be avoided. If you want to grow and evolve, you have to confront your biggest fears and your biggest shadows. And it's not always easy to handle them right then and there. But the more you try to stuff those things down and like turn the other cheek, the more they're going to bother you and ignore you, and the more you're going to be triggered. So it's good to handle it. And on top of that, you want to clear anything that spirits bringing to your attention, any past wounds, memories, hurts, pains. If you're having insecurities, you're being triggered, it's always good to check in with yourself and see what's up. And if you're um, so lucky to have people around you that are spiritually aware and self-aware to also help you and, you know, guide you in a sense in your spiritual path to kind of align things or help you to align things within yourself, utilize that support that you have here in this spirit, you know, in the spirit realm. This could be soul family, soul tribe, whether they're near or far. Hopefully, I would like to think that for some of you, just because we've never met in the physical, we don't talk, we don't know each other personally or anything, that I could still be of help to you. Like, you know, you're part of my soul tribe to where you resonate with me at times. If not most of the time, or most things, if not all things, it doesn't have to always be that way, because we're unique, we have our own minds. So I don't expect people to wholeheartedly agree with me or resonate with me, but I would hope that you know, you feel like I'm of help to you in some way, whoever has been, you know, on my YouTube channel and stuff supporting me, or may just be new stopping by, that you take something of positivity to help motivate you, even if it's something that triggers you in this message, that it leads you to where you need to be within yourself. So this is approaching things from a practical sense with the Capricorn energy as well. This moon, I feel like it's also assisting us with getting down to the nitty gritty and work, like putting in that work. Because the 10th house, I believe, rules Capricorn. So this is all about hard work and discipline and putting in the work and the efforts. Is there anything else? Yeah, have empathy for yourself right now, because this energy, or like this process of growth, is not easy. Okay, but I feel like a lot of you are in a good space though. Like, for the most part, you may not be able to see all the good things. Like, you may not be able to see the bigger picture per se, or how you're going to get to the bigger picture. Maybe you do see the bigger picture, but all the fine details have not been revealed, or you're just getting many breadcrumbs and you don't know where it's leading you. You're kind of in that, you're in the dark, because the vision that I got was at nighttime. So it's not, everything is not completely clear at this time. And the moon only illuminates so much. So you have impulsiveness, detachment, speculation, and secrets. So yeah, this has something to do with inner work. So you have Mars in Aries, the first house, which is the ruling planet of Aries. So this is like moving towards, maybe in the past, I do feel like someone was trying to run away from their emotions. They did have to go inward, go deep. I get a lot of you guys are intuitives, or certain readings have been highlighting hidden things about yourself. And I feel like this is a blessing for you to uncover some of these things. I also feel like you guys could have strong Cancer in your chart, or you have some sort of Cancer placement and you're already, you know, you're very intuitive yourself. You could be also clairsentient. You pick up energies very well. For some of you guys, I feel like you might need to um, take a break from, it's like overextending your energy, putting in too much work into something, or just overextending your energy by burning yourself out. I feel some of you, someone is like into psychology or something. I'm getting something with psychology. You have Moon in Aquarius, or Venus in Aquarius. So it could be some of you guys are like detaching from certain relationships, or you've detached, or some of you guys have traveled or moved away. And there's water in this card too. So I see travel here for some of you. Or if it's not literal travel, your mind is traveling very far, and it's a lot of deep emotions that are coming up. And for some of you, you're discerning a lot of your emotions, and this is going within, or this will possibly be where you're headed and where you're going. Okay, you have ancestors and spirit guides that are helping you and guiding you. Also, you have, what is this? Venus. This is Venus in Scorpio with secrets. So this is tapping into, I feel like this is tapping into some very, very ancient things. This could be gifts, spiritual gifts. This could be wisdom and knowledge. This can also be things from your past that you're discovering the root of an issue or something on how to heal. So speculation could be that you're getting a lot of intuitive insights, and you might be a little bit skeptical, if that's the right word, suspicious of some of the things that you're picking up or hearing. Of course, use your discernment. But I feel like you might need to detach from looking at it from a physical standpoint, and more so tap, or even logical or analytical, and kind of tap in more into the heart and how you feel, like in a, how do I say it? You don't want to be too overly emotional, but this is more of, it's like nurture what you feel. There's a reason why you're feeling what you're feeling. So honor that, you know, regardless of what it is, honor it, and like kind of feel into it. The more you try to like stuff it away or try to run from it, whether it's a good feeling or whether it's a quote unquote negative feeling or whatever, don't run from it. Like feel into the energy. I feel like a lot will be revealed to you. I have to get rid of that because this, yeah, like this isn't about perfectionism and how you look to others and society and proving a point. You know, this is about doing the work because this is to better yourself for yourself. The spiritual journey is not a race. This is not a competition. I'm just hearing different messages. It's not a competition, or you don't have to beat yourself up if you feel like you're not at a certain place where you think you should be. Just trust that spirit knows the way, and what you're supposed to be doing will be revealed to you. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Do some grounding meditations, you guys. You know, we're in this Capricorn energy, which is earth. Do a lot, you know, ground yourself, and you maybe test it a lot, or just kind of push yourself to stay disciplined on your journey, on your work that you're doing, your self-work, and do some grounding meditations, such as like maybe going out in nature, planting your feet in the ground, in the grass, in the dirt, or whatever. Got a lot of earth energy here too, by the way. Okay. So what I'm saying is you have the Ace of Wands is your opener card. So this energy, again, this is that fire. And there's a butterfly. So there's rebirth and transformation. I feel all is well from, you know, what you can see. There's like a bright um, future ahead that I feel like you're getting to. It's like a new dawn. You're getting to the place. It's like the night vision that I had is like, it's night, it's late, but morning is going to soon come. Or, and I don't want to say morning, but the light, the new day is soon to come. And I feel like this is the break of a new day. The Ace of Wands. Looking over this horizon, it's like so many different opportunities, and there's passion. You're feeling the passion of a new beginning. It's a breakthrough that's happening. You also have another ace. You have the Ace of Pentacles here as well, if you can see. You have the Ace of Pentacles with the Justice card separating them. So this is due to, I want to say like a karmic energy. And when I say karmic, it doesn't have to be good or bad, or, you know, however you perceive this. But I feel like this is a matter of balance of a karmic cycle, or karmic energy, you know, being paid off or just due, because the Ace of Pentacles is next. So some of you guys, these are financial, you know, blessings, like support financially, or new business ideas or opportunities, or just something opening up for you. You know, this is a potential new, like, it is a new beginning, but there's potential in it. So it's like what you do with these aces is completely your free will choice, and but it is a blessing, it is a gift, and it is the opportunity to start fresh and to start over in some sense. So I do see that there's a blessing. There is a spiritual payout in the physical realm, so, or material sense. It doesn't have to be money or anything like that. It could be a new home. You know, you get approved for a new home. You get a new business idea that, you know, is something prosperous, that's really going to be of your highest good. You know, it's an opportunity that comes in. So the Six of Cups is a pentacle. So pentacles, when you think of pentacles, they have different meanings. Like the pentacles of, I believe, it's planets or archangels under those. It's like angels or saints under those pentacles. So there's different pentacles of Jupiter. There's different pentacles of Venus. So that's what I'm getting from this. Then you have the Six of Cups. So the Six of Cups it represents also this lighthearted energy that's coming into. This is very, very expansive energy, so I can't put it into just one category of, oh, this and that is going to happen, because everybody's unique. Their journey is unique. Their story is unique. Why isn't it charging? I don't know why it's saying that it's not charging. The Queen of Swords is right next to the Six of Cups. It has two children. It's babies here. So I get this also represents protecting your energy, protecting your purity. Even if you feel like you're not the most pure person, it's like when you make peace with yourself and the things that you've done in life, or, you know, the so-called mistakes and the wounds and all of that, the regrets, when you really sit down and you forgive yourself and you forgive others, or you forgive your past or your childhood, or you make peace with those things, you see yourself as pure as you are. Like, there's no mistakes. There's no such thing as mistakes, only lessons. And I see the Queen of Swords is protecting these babies. This queen, this mother is protecting these two children in the garden. She sits over the mountain so she can see way beyond the earth. So the children are sitting, they're like in the, you know, the grass and playing by the water and stuff like that. And they can also be indulging, or just kind of not indulging, but like playing a little bit, being playful, embracing your inner child more and more. This very healing, very therapeutic if you have children of your own. Spending time with children. Then you have the Queen of Swords, like I said, she's sitting over the mountaintop. So she's overlooking everything. She could see the bigger picture. What I said, remember, you got to be 10 steps ahead of the enemy. Because when you're doing spiritual work, or when you cleanse, or when you made a stance with yourself to do better, just, you know, just be prepared that there's always going to be something to throw you off. It is what it is. That's just, and I always, like, for some reason, I always see that last scene in the Matrix. I think it was the first Matrix, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it was the second one. I don't remember. I think it was the first one. where he fought the agent at the end. Like, he knew the steps, like, or he knew the moves that the agent was gonna make before he made them. He was way on top of it, like at a rapid rate. He was already prepared. He was trained for that, right? Him and Morpheus, you know, they went through the little training process and stuff like that. He had his own run-ins with the agents in the beginning. So this is like, you've gone through these things before. You know the techniques. You know how to prepare. Her sword is ready. Her sword is up. So this also represents your crown chakra. Her crown represents your crown chakra. So this is being in tune with your intuition, being in tune with yourself, being able to see things beyond the physical. That's why you have to find balance between the spirit and the physical realm. The Justice card also has her sword up as well, and her crown. So this is divine truth, and this is divine clarity, and making decisions that are of your highest good. When you're in the position of the Justice card, the Justice card represents the sign of Libra, planet Venus. Libra rules the 7th house, so this is about partnerships. This is about dedications and commitments to things, and connections, people, society, whatever the case may be. It is a house of partnerships. So this is a decision that you're making in regards, maybe it could be your connection to yourself, connection with spirit, with God, the universe, your angels, your relationship and partnership with the physical and the spirit realm. This is making decisions from that place, from a balanced state. So the Queen of Swords can represent air energy, but I'm getting more so that this is protecting your energy. This is being prepared, seeing things beyond the surface. And that's because of wisdom. That is because of experiences that you've had to go through, which is why the Six of Cups is here to remind us that our past shapes our future. You know, we had to, if you want to go to the next card up, which is the Seven of Cups after the Six of Cups. It's not here, but I'm just using it as an example. The Seven of Cups represents illusions, fantasies, dreams. It could also represent opportunities. It could also represent distractions. Sometimes you have to taste all of the cups. You have to partake in the journey of life to even experience certain things, so you know better the next time. You'll be able to discern which cup is the Holy Grail, which cup is the cup of the divine, that ace, that chalice. So you got to go through these experiences, and this also taps into the intuition. So the 6 represents partnerships as well, represents balance, represents love. So this is having compassion for yourself. That's really what I feel. The 4 of Cups is here, and I feel like the 4 of Cups sits in this is also got there's a lot of children in these cards, okay? The 6 of Cups, the Page of Pentacles, the 4 of Cups, the Sun. There's children here. This is really making peace with your past, if not your childhood, okay? The person whom you used to be, because you're not that person anymore. We never are. And I'm not just saying that we outgrow ourselves physically, we outgrow ourselves energetically. So you're not the same person. I get that sometimes you get pessimistic when you start to move forward, you start to see forward movement. Every now and then this pessimism, whatever, self-doubt sneaks in, it comes in. And I feel like it stemmed from your childhood, being disappointed in your childhood, looking at yourself as like, nothing ever works for me because of what happened. And I was always the outcast. I was always counted out, or I didn't have, it's this energy of not seeing the blessings, the opportunity. And there's this little boy here with his arms crossed, and he's upset, but the truth is he's closed off and emotionally closed off from even allowing himself to even experience this mysticism, because there's a mermaid that sits right by him, which represents this mystical energy, this it's too good to be true, or just not seeing her. Maybe he does notice her, but he's ignoring her because he feels like it's too good to be true. It's a figment of my imagination, or maybe I'm tricking myself. Nothing ever goes good for me. It's that type of energy. So I really feel like it stems from childhood. So you might want to do some inner child work if you know that there's still some things that linger. And a lot of the times, like a lot of things that we struggle with, like abandonment issues and not feeling good enough for certain things, you know, or discounting our blessings or second guessing things, being very skeptical, is because we've been taught as children sometimes to close off that magical energy, to not believe in the unseen world, even though we know that it exists. The children are most closest to God and to spirit because they haven't really experienced this physical, like this reincarnation. They haven't experienced the cycle of life yet fully. They just hopped into this earth school, so they're more connected to the spirit realm more than anything. So that innocence may have been stripped from past experiences. Um, and that inner child still lingers in a way where it doesn't believe that it's good enough to receive blessings or things that may not be average everyday experiences or opportunities, or discounting the emotions of, you know, playfulness and excitement for something, and like a child. So fours represent balance and foundation. So you got to start from the root. Where does this come from? Where is this energy stemming from? Just like a psychologist or a therapist, they always ask you, okay, you tell them what your issues are. I'm going through this, and this, and that. And one of the things that they'll ask you, I believe, you know, is, okay, what was your childhood like? What was your mom and dad like? You know, what was your household like? You know, that type of thing. So you got to get down to the root of it. That's where your story begins. Your childhood, when you first got here, what was that like? What were the influences around you? So you got to go do that for yourself and kind of, you know, sit down in your own therapy chair and ask yourself these questions. Where is this shit stemming from? And your childhood will reveal everything. So the Ten of Wands is here. So this also represents that, yeah, there's still a little bit of work to do, but you're at the end because he's very close to this castle. He's almost there. He might have had a long journey, or maybe he might have not had a long journey, but the process, I feel like, is almost over. And you know that whatever this last karmic cycle is that you're closing out, and it sits right underneath the Justice card. You have the Page of Pentacles right underneath the Ace of Pentacles. So there's no doubt that Spirit is delivering you some sort of message of an opportunity, or it's going to come. I feel like stay grounded. Like really stay. You gotta stay. I heard "Stay Ready" by Janae Aiko, and I don't know why, but I heard that phrase. You gotta stay ready. So be prepared, because you never know when this is coming. Like these opportunities, there's some sort of blessing. And there's blessings always in our life. No matter what we're going through, no matter how much we have or what we feel like we don't have, there's always something to be grateful for. So it's not a matter of saying like, oh, because you got to be careful of being in that state of I'll be happy when or if, or waiting, holding your breath for something, the next best thing to take place. Because in that state, you're not really living. But there's something that's coming to you. And Spirit's just telling you to be prepared to receive whatever this blessing is. Because pages represent messengers. So this could be like a message that comes, or it could be a sign or synchronicity. But I get something more practical, a practical message, or just a practical, you know, something that's coming from Spirit. I don't get overly emotional energy or anything like that. It's like, see it for what it is, you know. The Sun card is here, so that clarity is coming, that illumination is coming. And if you're in that childlike place, you'll be able to receive it. That's why this childlike energy is coming up. You got to be in that childlike openness, not taking everything too seriously or overly worried about something. You're trusting in the path. You're trusting in the journey. This young boy is riding a horse. So this horse can represent travel, can also represent just going with the flow and trusting that you're divinely guided, divinely protected, and you're not going to be steered in the wrong direction. There's also sunflowers here. There's a lot of flowers in these cards. So this can, again, grounding your energy as well, and taking care of yourself as if you are, why isn't this charging? As if you were a plant, Like, you got to treat yourself and nurture and give yourself the proper lighting, you know, keep yourself in the light, the positive. Even at the times where, because it's inevitable, not always are you a plant that sits under this fake light. You know, you can't really grow unless you're some weed or something, I don't know. But we're speaking of like flowers and plants that are rooted from the earth. And you have to stay in that place of positivity, even in the dark. That you know that you're still growing, okay? You're still growing as long as you're watering and nurturing yourself. What are horses? Okay, horses represent movement. It says, continue forward in your efforts with discipline. New journeys are ahead. Stretch your freedom and power. So, yeah, power. There's so much power in this childlike energy. Doesn't mean that you have to be naive or anything like that. It's saying childlike energy, when you think of it, it's playfulness, it's lightheartedness, it's trust, it's belief, it's faith. Not taking shit so seriously. It's just a flow. So the sun is going to illuminate. The sun illuminates. The sun also not only illuminates, but it revitalizes the energy. So this is revitalization energy. The Seven of Pentacles is like, trust that your hard work and your efforts are going to pay off. They are. The seven. So the seven can represent also the crown chakra as well. The seventh chakra. It can also represent luck. It can also represent awareness. Also, too, it's an odd number. So, yeah, it may seem like the odds are against you, but you have to be patient because this is a process of growth. These pentacles are growing on a tree. So again, when you plant the seed, you have to trust that there's a process to it. It's inevitable, but you got to stay on the course. Okay? You can't, there's no time to, it's not time to give up on yourself. What is the, let's see, what is the bottom card? You got the Three of Pentacles and you have the Emperor at the top. And again, there's child energy. Okay, some of you, this may be like a little heavy, but something with your father. It does not have to be anything negative. But something with your father, some sort of male influence in your life. There's something that you might need to reflect upon and look at. And again, this is that discipline. This is that work that Spirit's telling you. The Three of Pentacles also. You're not doing this by yourself. You have spiritual help. You have spiritual help. Is there anything else the Spirit, guides, angels, and ancestors want us to know? Is there anything else? I'm not taking all these cards, but what wants to come out? What wants to come out? Rejection, self-worth. Yeah, work on these specific things. How and what way have you been rejecting yourself? Okay, that could be something to remind yourself. You got the sacral chakra, the crown chakra, and the throat chakra with expansion. So speak, like, you know, ask Spirit to show you in what way am I like dealing with the self-worth, or why, or this rejection. Why am I rejecting myself? These thoughts that come in that make me question myself. Yeah, because this is a part of your growth. When you when you communicate with your spiritual team and you ask them, hey, show me, like, in what way can I utilize these issues or these past hurts and these things to grow, dissipating. Okay, because some of you guys, over time, you know, these things have accumulated, these inner you know, the traumas and stuff like that. It's different for everyone because we're all unique. We have a different story. Enlightenment. Your insecurities may have eaten away at you for some time, and for some reason I get generational. I don't want to get too much into this personally, but there's a elderly woman here, and some of you guys have this fear of being alone, but something came up for me from my childhood. I don't want to get too personal and I don't want to be disrespectful to my family members, but I had a specific person that helped raise me, and they were very, very toxic. They did kind of like bring a lot of trauma, you know, mentally as a child. The things that they said to me, word curses over me, negative things, and a lot of it, I'm learning to work through, and I am working through, and I am removing it. And because it's like a lot of defeat in the mind. It's a defeatist attitude. It's a I'm not good enough. I'm stupid. Oh, well, because the things that have been embedded for so long. So some of you guys have gone through this for like some time. This shit didn't just happen last year. You might be the type of person that has experienced this from different angles. Like I had some toxic relationships where things were spoken into me that made me doubt my self-worth. But it's not saying that you're not a strong person or you're not a strong character. Sometimes the child, when you can break that innocence or that child, or make them believe that their innocence is broken and that they're not good enough and there's something wrong with that child in their innocence and their youth, because the mind is very impressionable, it kind of as you get as an adult, you get into situations that are similar to that, and you start to get used to it in a sense, and the toxicity, or whether you're the victim of it or you're the person that's inflicting it on other people because you are that one individual that has gone through it. But there's an try to let me resume. Okay, because my phone died, so I thought it was charging and it was not charging. So yeah, okay. So where I left off was with the enlightenment card. So by confronting your childhood more or deeper, because I'm not gonna say that no one's done inner child work or nothing like that in this collective. Whoever is watching this, whenever you watch it, I'm not gonna say that you have not done that, but this could be just going further into it. And gaining more insight and more clarity, when you go to your source, that divine source, and abundance. It's all how you perceive things. The child, again, there's a lot of references to children. You got this little girl here. Her perception of abundance is far different than this man, this adult here. He's looking at something as a loss. Like he dropped something valuable down this drain or whatever, and this little girl, she's possibly playing and tampering with something of value and putting it down there, but it's all in your perception. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of jewels and a lot of clarity when you learn how to let go and release and some of this accumulated energy that you're holding onto. There will be more that's given unto you. I heard, that's exactly what I heard. And it's a Bible verse. It's a Bible verse, something given unto you, and it's not coming to me clear. But there's a lot of, there's, again, the root chakra, not the root chakra, but the lower chakras, yes, I do feel like those need some sort of tender love and care at this time, specifically the solar plexus, because you have a lot of solar plexus cards. But it doesn't hurt to work on your root and your sacral chakra. And you got the heart chakra with growth. Okay, this is an emergency room. So it's like you're being operated on right now. Your process of your healing. So there's no need to rush the process of growth. Remember, I was saying you guys have to take care of yourselves like you are a plant. Okay, it's just not going to happen overnight. You got to nurture yourself. I want to tap into love because I know, that we got into the love and whatnot. So let's see what's going on with love, if that's, something that's on your mind. Because that could have resonated with you in some sense. Do I want to do a vision? Or not? It might come to me. Because I feel like this is also, it can go into many different areas. So that vision I had, it could be about relationships as well. It's been a process, it's been a journey, and you've been following that call in your heart for quite some time. Following your passions and just feeling into your emotions. When you stop running from your passions, your desires, and your feelings, the more clarity you're going to have. Okay, and I feel like that also it relates to love and relationships. I don't mean for my readings to be so long, but so much stuff be coming out, so just go with it. Divine Spirit, please tap into the energies of partnerships, love, and relationships. Into this energy that we are picking up on, Divine Spirit. What is the energy? Regardless of your relationship status, if it resonates with you, you will know what in the reading is meant to resonate with you, if anything at all. Thank you. Excuse me, the Lover's card flew out of the deck with the Four of Swords, the Hermit, the Empress, the Moon. There's the Moon. The Three of Swords, Temperance, the World. You got a lot of major arcana. The Ace of Pentacles again. Page of Wands. With the High Priestess at the bottom of the deck. And the Three of Wands at the top. So this has been a very long journey, but this has been an inward journey for a lot of you, or this is a time now to really pay attention to your guidance and your intuition, okay? Because there's so many hidden jewels and gems that are coming to you on a spiritual level. So it's not to say don't focus on the physical, but don't forget to stay in tune with your higher self and your spiritual self and that of your divine connection, because you know your divine counterpart first on a spiritual level before the physical. You meet each other spiritually, and your connection is stronger first in the spirit realm before the physical realm. So you have the Lover's card. So the Lover's card could be some of you guys have been contemplating making a decision in regards to your love life, or you've been on this path of following the inner calling of your heart, which is leading you to the journey to that one. If this resonates with you, if you're already in an established bond, then this is getting to that moment of harmony, balance, after going through challenging times, maybe together and individually, hearing that spiritual call from your higher self and your spirit guides. Because there's an overseer, there's an angel that is working, or angels that are working to bring true connections together. And it's not easy because there's been a lot of healing. There's been a process of going at it alone. Because I see this with the Four of Swords and the Hermit card. Maybe even the Empress and the Moon. There's a lot of independent energies. A lot of the Four of Swords is a contemplative energy. It's a meditative energy. The Hermit card, he's been in his cave for quite some time, you know, going within, gathering clarity, gathering information. The number 9 represents mastery, conclusions, the completion of something. Can also be a humanitarian. So you've been putting in a lot of work. You've been doing self-work. You've been putting in work for the collective, whatever your spiritual calling is, or whatever your soul's calling is. And it does not have to be on some Gandhi shit or Martin Luther King. It could just simply be, and I say this all the time because I love food, but it can be starting your own restaurant that is a part of your purpose, because it could bring people together, you know, whatever it is. I feel like you've been putting in your work, and this is also, you've been spending a lot of time within. I feel like for majority of you, you've been single for quite some time. You might have dated in between. You might have had some, like, you know, some significant connections, but I feel like you haven't fully, you've been, for the most part, you've been hidden. You've been working on yourself, and it's because in that state of in that state of hermit mode, I was about to say harmony, but yeah, in the hermit mode, in the isolated, the times that you had to be by yourself or be in your singlehood, you've learned so much about yourself and your experiences, and what better way to go through these things in order to help others, be a light to others in some sense. It's not a big pressure that you got to be a public speaker or anything like that, but there is something within you that is meant to nurture and support others in some sense, and be the light torch for others that can't see, whether you're just a walking example of, because Spirit's going to place you in an environment to help and heal people. You have a lot of major arcana cards, so there's a lot. Your love life is not simply based off of the, you know, the romantic fairy tale Cinderella stories. It's a purpose to this. The heart, the story of the heart chakra, the soul, basically. The Four of Swords, I'm getting back to that. In this solitude, there was a lot of healing. I'm noticing that she has 3 swords that lay up against the wall that she's looking at, almost like she's ready to attack. So, and you do have the 3 of Swords here, by the way, as well. So this represents some sort of healing, a lot of progression in the areas of healing as well. Some of you guys could be in a spiritual, like a separation from, not a spiritual separation. You could be in a separation from, you know, your, I don't want to say better half or other half, but you know what I mean. Like, that person that's ordained for you. Or you could be in a union right now with someone, but there's some sort of separative energy between the two of you. Could be mental, could be because you're going through your own period of healing or trying to figure out where you want to go with this situation, or the reason why some of you guys are in separation. I'm sorry if I'm jumping around. I'm just going to like what spirits bring into my attention. um, you guys are in this period because of your need to gather more clarity, because you need to heal. You know, that's why this is happening under divine order. But the Four of Swords, like, she's prepared to confront these three swords, which is the pain, the hurt, the heartache, the trauma from past relationships, or stemming from childhood, going into the type of relationships that were chosen to be experienced. So this is not for you to beat yourself up like, oh, why did I date this person, or why did this happen, or oh, I was stupid, or oh, I played with this person's heart and that heart. You have to forgive yourself, because even in the situation where you felt like you were the victim, you have to forgive yourself, because it's easy to say it was my fault, I should have known better, or why did I even do this. Or you have to forgive yourself first and foremost, and then, you know, genuinely be able to forgive others if they inflicted that pain on you. But she has one sword in her hand, and it's the Ace of Swords, and it's down. So it could be that the truth has already been revealed as to what needs to be healed, which led to going in the hermit state. Now, some of you could have been in this place where you were heartbroken at the fact that there was some sort of separation, or that there was a choice that needed to be made. But if spirit separated someone out of your life where you were together, it was because you needed to go within. Sometimes we can be distracted by other things. So that could be an energy. This could be resentment or bitterness, but someone is seeing the light. Or in order to take a step back from this connection, it allows one of you or both of you to see the light, because you got to go within. So the Emperor's card is that someone is in this position of the Empress. This could be the divine feminine energy, or this could represent just nurturing the self. This represents independence. She's draped and she's wearing a green dress. Green, again, the heart chakra. This could also represent the element of earth or groundedness. Someone is taking care of self. And like I said, this does not have to be just divine feminine energy. This can just represent the aspect of nurturing the self. There's also this desire to create from a healthier place, or to reinvent self due to self-love. This also, you have a bunny rabbit here. This represents fertility, and the Empress is usually depicted as pregnant. So you're giving birth to a new aspect of yourself, reclaiming your independence in a healthy manner. I feel knowing that you're abundant in all that ways. You have all that you need. You're not lacking anything. So some of you guys, this is being single and being in a place where you are accepting and embracing of it, because you know that it helped to shape you into the best version of yourself. Or if you are in a relationship, that getting back to yourself was the best thing that you can do, so that you could be the healthiest partner that you could be, not just for the other person, but for yourself. The Moon card, there is still a little bit of and there's wolves here too. There's two wolves here, and this woman is walking in the dark. She's being guided. Again, there's something with wolves. So in this darkness, you don't see everything, but you're still hearing the call. You're still being guided. You have the light torch to guide you. You have the moon to illuminate what needs to be illuminated. And you have the backing of your spiritual team and your guides protecting you and making sure you cannot go wrong on your divine path. Just like with the Lover's card, if this is about making a decision from the matters of the heart, or choosing yourself, or choosing a path, or choosing something in regards to love, you have an angelic force behind you. So there's no way that they're going to allow you to make the wrong decisions. If you're aligned with your truth, if you're aligned with your heart. The Lover's card is also the sign of Gemini, which is the third, rules the third house, and also the planet Mercury, which is communication. So this is also about spiritual communication with the Four of Swords. You may be communicating in the solitude, the dream space. telepathic communication, or your spirit guides are communicating with you very clearly about your relationships or your connections. But you're being guided. Okay, pay attention to your dreams. Your dreams are guiding you. Just because something has not manifested does not mean that it's not going to manifest. Just because you have a desire in your heart, and something did not manifest the way that you wanted it to in the past, or with whom you wanted it to be with, does not mean that it's not manifesting in the way that it's supposed to, or with whom it's supposed to be with. So again, we don't have all of the detail. You might see the bigger picture, but you don't know how it's going to work. Or you may not see the bigger picture, but you're getting some sort of, tokens and nuggets and gems to guide you. The Three of Swords being here, still some healing that's taking place with the Temperance card. So this group right here, I feel like you're single. You only have one couple card, which is the Lover's card. The rest is a lot of single energies. Some of you guys, you're trying to balance yourself out, and if there's another person involved, they're trying to balance themselves out. If you're single and you have no one in mind, you're not dealing with anyone, you're not interested in anyone, you don't know your other half or whatever the case may be, because this group right here, you're on the path of a divine connection. This isn't just like a mundane connection. It's like a purpose behind this connection, like a higher purpose, a soul purpose, a mission, or something, along the lines of that. Whether you perceive it to be big or small, it's an inner calling in your heart. So if it's not that, then take it and leave it, whatever. But someone is still recovering, still healing. Your angels and spirit guides are working behind the scenes, because there's a reward that's also coming to you in this area of your life at this time. And it could be coming from different sources, or it could be different things in your life where there's a lot of blessings, because you also have the Ace of Pentacles that follows after the World card. The World card is the last major arcana card in the deck. So this is the ending of a cycle, completing out a karmic cycle. This is something to be proud of, you guys. Like, you may even feel like you're getting to that place. Like, that divine spirit has promised you something. There's a rainbow back here in this Temperance card. You believe that spirit is blessing you. You feel a sense of peace knowing that, whether you can see, like I said, or not, there's peace in knowing that something is like coming together, or you feel more connected and in tune because you've done the work and you've healed, or you are currently continuing your healing, that you're starting to feel a sense of peace, that things are the way that they need to be, and things are going to come together when they need to come together. There is going to be some closures, and whatever is closed out, during this eclipse season, this is bringing about an abundant energy with the Ace of Pentacles, a potential to build and create something of value. It's up to you what you do with this pentacle. It's up to you what you're manifesting and what you create and how you build this foundation. The Page of Wands is also embarking upon a new journey. There's a level of excitement, and there's that inner child reference again. There's a lot of animal messages here. You got a lion, you have a deer, you have an eagle, and you also have this cat and the wolves. Again, the wolves. So, you can look that up on your own. Excuse me, if you feel led to, if you feel guided to. And I also feel there's a level of excitement, because some of you may even have known since you were a child. It's like, as a child, you always knew that there was someone that fit you better than anyone else, or would, as a child. Because why I say that, he's holding this wand and it has a red ribbon, that red string of fate. If you believe in that, or just the metaphor of it, you can look it up. But it's this connection that you're always connected. It's like it's like a parallel universe. Like, this person is like, you guys might share, and this is real. Like, I'm a practical person for the most part, because I'm Earth first. I have a lot of earth in my chart. And then I have a lot of air in my chart, so it's like I have to balance that shit out. But um, I have to see certain things. Like, I believe in fairy tales, but in a practical sense. Like, I don't just think like some miraculous person is just gonna show up at my door and it's gonna be perfect and all of that. Like, it has to be like something practical that takes place in order for that to happen. So I was reading an article. I just looked up the red string of fate. I can't remember how I got into it, but I looked it up, and it was all these different stories of different couples that experienced the so-called red string of fate type of energy. And it was like different cute stories. Like, one of them that I remember was a man and a woman that met at a beach when they were little kids. And or they were, yeah, it was a picture of a little girl at the beach, and there was a little boy in the background playing, and it ended up being him. Like, they met somehow. I think they met online or something. It was crazy, and come to find out it was them. And there was another one where it was a couple that met in preschool, and they had crushes on each other. They were really little. They had a crush on one another, and they somehow they found each other again, and they were talking about, oh, you went to that school, so did I, blah blah. And then the guy was like, there was this little girl that I used to play with, or I had a crush on her, blah blah. And it ended up being her, and there was a picture of them together in preschool. So it's like, crazy. And it may not be exactly like that for everyone. It's also like your lives match too. Like, there's some sort of similarities. It doesn't have to be like verbatim, but it's like something that's like a parallel. Like, you guys could have gone through a similar traumatic situation at the same time in life, or at the same age. Something happened to you at this age that happened to them, or it's something that is like very weird. But it doesn't have to be that. But the red string fate is like, it's something that's always fated to be, and always will be, and it will pull you together if you believe it. And I believe that shit. Like, I mean, like I said, I had to see it on a practical level too at the same time, to be like, okay, well, these stories are real. They posted the pictures and stuff, so it's not like they just making it up. But yeah, he has this red string, and it's like this inner child that believes in fate, or believes that all is well and things are going to come together. Whether you found that person or not, like, that energy's out there. This isn't corny. For some people it's corny, but I don't feel like it is. It's a deeper meaning behind it all. Like, we got to step out of the physical, like being too much in the physical or too much in the spirit. As long as you have that balance, and that things start, they shape in the physical or in the spirit realm before they shape in the physical, you would probably trust more, because children live in their imagination first. They believe in fairy tales and pixie dust first. They believe that when they ask for some ice cream, they're going to get it. They don't doubt how they're going to get the ice cream. They know that if I ask my mom or my dad or whatever, that it's going to be given to me. So it's like, if I ask Spirit, I want this, that Spirit's going to deliver it to me in the best way that it's meant for me to have it. There's no in between. The chemistry card, trust, express your love, worth waiting for, and give your relationship a chance, came out. So there is a pull. There is a divine magnetic pull. And you have to trust that in your heart. And look, this woman has a red ribbon on her arm. You have to trust that and the word calling is standing out to me. It says the situation is calling for you to have faith. So you're being pulled in a certain direction, but you have to trust that you haven't gone through certain things in your love life, whether you started dating as a child, a teenager, whatever. You haven't gone through these experiences for naught. Everything has a reason and a purpose. And I feel like Spirit is saying, like, express your love. Is like, don't be afraid to be vulnerable or to open up because of what happened in your past. Don't be afraid to follow the calling of your heart. Like, you'll never know what following your heart leads you. Even if it leads to some heartache or some disappointments, it's still going to lead you to where you need to be. Like, I had to go through like, the thing is, you have to learn how to give up your fears and your pride and love. It can't be there. Fear and love are not the same. It's not the same energy. It's not, you can't dwell in both. You can't dwell in both energies. So you can't have fear with love. So I had to go through situations where I had to face my fears in love, with the possibility that it wasn't going to work out, the possibility that a person didn't feel the same way as me. I had to go through all of that. And I can't be upset with that, because if I didn't experience those things, I wouldn't have learned what I needed to learn about myself, what I needed to learn about love, how to use my discernment, trust more, see that certain things were not of my highest good. Like sometimes you gotta walk through a door just to see, okay, at least I experienced it. I walked through this door and I seen what it was about. And if it's not in my high school, that's okay. I'm going to keep walking. It's like walking into a store and saying, hey, do you have this? And they say, no. Okay, fine. On to the next store. What's next? So it's like you kind of have to look at love in that sense, that every experience you go through is for a reason and a purpose. If you learned the lesson, if you understood what was behind it, if you understood yourself within that experience and what did you learn from it and what can you do better, experiencing the type of people, okay, well, I know, but that's not something I want in a relationship, or I'll be more discerning next time if I ever experience something similar. But you can't go off of expecting things to be the same because, oh, this person, oh, you used to be like that. Oh, that reminds me of my ex. So, oh, I can't date you. Like, you have to use your discernment in your heart, and really, if you don't trust yourself, it's hard for you to trust others. And if you don't trust in the divine, if you're a spiritual person or religious or whatever, if you can't trust in a higher power and therefore trust yourself, you're not going to be able to trust another person. So that trust within self and the divine has to be there. But all of your experiences, they were worth going for. So express your love to me is like, if you feel like you need to express yourself to someone, you can't hold that shit back. Like, you may be tested. Like, spirit used to test me all the time. Like, I had to go through some experiences where I could cringe and be like, I was so stupid, or that is so embarrassing. But there was like, spirit pushed me to heal past my traumas as a child from being told I was stupid or I was dumb, or no, don't speak, don't say this. And I couldn't speak up for myself in certain instances. So when I got into relationships, it was hard for me to express myself because I was afraid of rejection. I was afraid that I was going to be laughed at, told I was stupid, or just whatever. So a lot of times spirit put me in situations with people where I was pushed and pulled to express myself, with facing the fear of potentially being rejected, potentially of it not going in a way, losing the expectations of, because your feelings are valid regardless if someone reciprocates them or not. You felt what you felt, you got it off of your chest, you have clarity now regardless of what unfolds. You have to honor your truth, period. How else will you ever learn? How else will you ever gain clarity? Or you don't know what will come out of something if you don't approach it, if you don't express yourself. When you get into that connection where it's a balanced union, that vulnerability has to be there. You can't block off your heart chakra and your solar plexus because you feel a sense of insecurity or doubt, or you have to have that intimacy, that spiritual and emotional intimacy as well. Like, it's like we've been taught backwards that intimacy is sex first, rather than the emotional and mental and the spiritual intimacy. So it's like you have to have that first. It's easy to give of yourself on a physical level than it is on a spiritual level, an emotional level. So, because everything is so ego driven nowadays. Like, everything is all about looks and what can you do for me and how shit looks on paper, and rather than feeding the soul. So I feel like this express your love is, if you're stepping into a new season with a person that you're with, or if you're single or you're coming into a connection, that openness, that flow from your heart has to be there. That acceptance of yourself and your emotions and your experiences has to be there in order for that intimacy, like for the both of you to be free flowing and open hearted, because that's what builds a connection. you know, not hiding or holding. And trust, it has to be built on trust as well. I'm getting worth waiting for. This also is teaching patience. This season that you've been in, whether you've been single for, I don't, you know, 15 years, who knows, um 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, 2 years, 1 month, 2 months, who cares? The season of waiting, like, even if you feel like you wasted your time with the wrong one for years, because it's easy to do that, or feel like you, oh, I just haven't found the one. I wasted all of my time in my years on dating multiple people, and none of them panned out to be this or be that. But you have to look at it from a perspective of like your experience, your journey of evolution. What did you learn in those periods of time? Again, but it's all worth the wait, and it's also showing your willingness and your patience, because true connections also take time. Like the building, yeah, the connection is there on a spiritual level, but on the physical level, again, you, it's like you're revisiting, you're relearning, you know. So I get that this is a test of patience for some of you, and also to see if what you're asking for is really worth it to you. Does it really matter to you? And this is coming from an impatient motherfucker, so I'm not judging anybody. Cause yeah, but I mean, I get it. Like if you've been single for so long, like I've never been the person that has to be in a relationship. That was never me. Like I've only been in one that I could say maybe like one real relationship. Well, I wouldn't say, but so I wouldn't say it's real, but the real is compared to the other situations I was in. It was just like little flings and stuff like that when I was younger, but just one. And I've been single for like over 6 years now, so it's like you get used to being by yourself, and for some it could be like, okay, well, I've waited so long, hurry up. Once you tap into that yearning, or that yearning was always there, and then you're like, okay, well, I'm ready now. Or you also have to ask yourself, where is it coming from? Is it coming from a place of, I don't want to be by myself? Is it coming from a place, oh, I'm getting to a certain age? Like, who says that you got to be with someone, or you got to be with someone by this age, or, you know, put the pressure on ourselves. So make sure that where you're coming from is from your true heart's desires. But also, I feel too, it's like, can we be delaying our own connections and unions because of our lack of patience, or our lack of trust, or our fear to open up, our inability? Because it's also that saying, be careful what you ask for. So if you're praying for a divine connection where you and this person are thick as thieves, your best friends, you can open up to each other, and it's this deep level of intimacy, and you have this true bond, but you have fear of intimacy, you have fear of trusting people, fear of trusting yourself. In essence, you're asking for something prematurely because you're not in the state or the energy to even like to receive it. So you have to like kind of ask yourself where you're at with the things that you're asking for, because when much, what is it, something, what much is asked, much is required, or something like that, or to whom much is given, much is required, or something like that. So yeah, when you ask for something like this, or not even ask for, because it's a part of your blueprint, your spiritual journey, your path, your truest heart's desires, it's coming from your soul. So whether you realize it or not, like, yeah, it's something that you've in essence asked for on a deeper level. And it's not to say that you can't have it, but this divine timing card could very well be, because you can take this as your angels waiting on you, because they waiting out in the cold. They're like, okay, we sick of this person. Like, when are these people going to get it together? And never worry about, oh, well, the other person, well, what if they're not? Or, oh, they doing this, they doing that. Worry about your journey, because things will start to move. Like, it's natural. Like, if this is it's like saying, you're worried about, okay, you have a body, your body parts. This hand is doing something, but this hand is worried if the other hand is going to pick up the shoebox with the other hand. Like, you shouldn't be worried about that. It's the same with that, I believe, worried about what the other hand is doing or something like that. So it's like, it's natural to use both hands to, I don't know. I mean, I can't even say walk. Let's say feet. You need to use both feet to walk, right? So you can't be like, okay, well, this foot's moving, but when is this other foot going to move? You just know it's natural for both feet to function in the way that they're meant to function. So if it be that, okay, this is my partner, or if I'm single and there's someone out there for me, well, I bet you, I'm over here doing this. Or if you have a connection where you're like, it's some complications and you feel like this person is fucking off, or you're in separation and you feel like, oh, well, this person is dating, or they're doing this, or they don't care, they're not suffering. And who's to say that they're not? Like, you don't know that. But, like, what does it even matter? And this goes into this phenomenon called karmic partners. Like, everybody just loves to talk about, oh, they're with a karmic. Okay. Well, the law of karma is the cause and effects. It's lessons to be learned. There's experiences that need to be happened. So, what's the big deal? It has to happen. It needs to be experienced for a reason. So it's not up to you to like babysit that connection. It is what it is. That's their personal journey and their experience that they have to go through. Just as much as we've gone through connections with other people that we have karmic connections with, that we have to learn lessons with and heal due to those connections and experience those things for a reason. It's a purpose to every connection, whether it's seasonal, whether it's toxic, beautiful for that moment, whatever. It all serves a purpose. So that's another thing. Like, you really have to be in a state of receptivity. Also be self-aware, because everything is always going to turn back to ourselves. Everything, regardless. You could ask about a person, but at the end of the day, somehow it's always going to reflect back to self. Then you have give your relationship a chance. So I feel like, again, this is that willingness to receive and open up. How dedicated are you to this? Because it's easy to be in a place of wanting something before it's time. The dedication that it takes for a real relationship. Not a lot of people have that in them anymore. It's easy for people to just like give up and, oh, it's not going my way, or I want it now, 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 now. In this Amazon Prime fast food society, everything is a now, 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 instantaneous. So it's hard. It is. I admit, it's fucking hard. I know. But where's your willingness? Where's your discipline? Where's your dedication? And Capricorn season could be hitting you on the head with that. It takes time. It's not easy. So, and I also feel like this is, a divine connection. There's a lot of angelic energy in these cards. So you are divinely protected. And some of you guys may be reluctant to give a connection a chance because of your past and your fears. And that, again, just highlights there's still some wounding there. There's still something that needs to be healed or addressed within yourself. Why am I afraid to receive this? Why am I scared? Because it's scary, especially if you've experienced something you've never experienced before and it feels too good to be true. And it's not to say that it can't be, but a lot of times it's like when good things happen to people that gone through some shit, it's hard to believe that not everybody has this pick up and go energy where, oh, I've been heartbroken before. Oh, I'm going to get into another relationship and I'm just going to be hopeful. Not everybody has that. And again, I will say that this stems from some of childhood too, because you're used to things not going a certain way, or you've been hurt before, or a parent abandoned you, or you've never seen healthy relationships in your life. You're asking for a healthy bond, a true loving bond, but all you've seen all of your life was toxic relationships and cheating and abuse and whatever else, people miserable in their marriages and so on and so forth. So there's a fear there. It goes deep for different people. So you have to take what resonates with you, but, check in with yourself and see where you are. Because you could be delaying things, but at the same time, it's like there's no such thing of it's not being denied from you. It's just certain things are moving in a certain moment in time. So it's up to you to catch up to the energy of what already is. It's already existing in the spirit realm. You asked for something, you created it in the spirit realm. It just takes time to manifest if it's truly your highest good. Because Because not every desire is coming from our higher self. Not every desire is of our highest good. So be grateful if spirit blocks certain things for you, whether it be at that time or just period. Because it's spirit doing you a favor. They're not going to jip you into nothing. And I don't, again, I have to like always reinforce this. I feel like when I say that there's something better for you, people automatically be like, oh, if it's not Tyrone, I don't know. I always use that. uh, if it's not this person or if it's not Sarah, then fuck it. But I feel like you're too caught in the physical. And I feel like we know who our counterparts are and stuff like that, but it's just like sometimes we want something we want, and it may not always be for the best reasons. It could be from wounding. It could be because of our own ego and selfishness or codependency that we're asking for certain things and for certain situations or people, rather than trusting that spirit has our back, that when spirit shuts something out, it's for a good reason. There's something that you didn't see. You know, everything looks good on the surface, but if you don't really know what you're getting yourself into, but spirit does, you have to trust. Because spirit's not going to play you and give you somebody that you're not going to, like, what was the purpose? Like, you might as well go back to Tyrone or go back to Sarah or whoever, if that's the case. So you have to trust what spirit is doing. And I feel like you're high enough up in the game, I feel, for a lot of you to discern what's meant for you and what's not. And if you're not, trust spirit and flow and know that there's no way that you could be steered in the wrong direction if you're following your intuition and your truth. You have to trust spirit knows what they're doing. You don't have to know everything, because a lot of things are happening spiritually that your physical eye cannot see. Maybe your third eye can see, but your two physical eyes may not be able to see everything, and that's okay. Sometimes maybe your third eye can't see because it's not meant to. Look, codependency was at the top, and heart-to-heart conversations are there. So yeah, some of you also have to break the spirit of stubbornness and this false sense of independence and pride that disallows you from being receptive to having heart-to-heart conversations, meaning these feelings and allowing them to flow or to express your truth. And this goes beyond just romantic. This could be with, other people around you, friendships, family. It's that fear of being rejected, and it can stem from that. Like I said, me as a child, it's very hard for me to be vulnerable with certain people around me because of that upbringing, that trauma as a child of not having healthy communication or being able to communicate myself freely. Because children should have that ability to do that, to express their feelings. Because children are honest and they're in their most pure state. So when that's shut off, it makes it very hard as an adult to be able to have intimate conversations with people because of that trauma, and thinking, oh, because I'll speak for myself, like it's still something that I'm healing and going through, and triggers do come in every now and then, but spirit pushes me out of that. So if you want to be able to express yourself from your heart, you have to release that false sense of pride and that protection of this hard shell of not allowing yourself to feel anything or allowing anyone in, or the fear of expressing your truth to people because, oh, they may not like it, or they're going to reject me, or I sound stupid, or I sound weak. I'm going to regret it if I do it. Because, let me tell you, I could, hide under a rock for some of the things I've expressed. Like, some people might have thought I was crazy, but I had to say what I needed to say. I had to get that out for a reason. And you never know what the outcome is going to be. And I don't mean to talk everybody's ear off. I think I've been on here for far too long. But all of this is a lot of information, a lot of messages I wanted to come out. Hopefully this helps somebody, because I know I didn't just sit on here for 94 minutes talking about nothing, like over an hour talking about absolutely nada. I knew it was for a purpose. I'm going to trust spirit, and hopefully you take whatever you needed to take from this. Whatever resonates with you, use your discernment. Place it where it resonates with your life. Don't force something to resonate. If it does not resonate, sit with it. If something triggers you, figure out why it's triggering you. That's part of your process of healing. I'm only here to be a service and help. You don't have to take anything I say as truth. That's not what this is about. You're a free thinker. You're your own person, your own individual. So use that. Yeah, pretty much. That's it. Much love to you guys. I appreciate you. And yeah, you know, there's a few little gems in here for myself too. So, and I don't share my experiences unless I feel led to. I'm not an open book. I don't like sharing my business and stuff unless I feel led to. So when I do, I know it's because, you know, I went through it. So why not share it? Because it might relate to someone else. There's no shame in the game, okay? Much love to you. I appreciate you guys. I will talk to you guys soon. Peace.